Welcome back to the YBA, and today on the channel we got the most special video that we do all year. This is the best clippers, best trimmers, and best shavers of 2024. So who takes the crown? It is 6:30 a.m. and we also got a little special treat for you guys. I reached out to a couple of other influencers in the industry and I asked them what their favorite units were. So they will be included in this video at some point. So we graded these based on fading, runtime, how they remove bulk, value you get in the box, and the price. So there's 5 different points and you guys can see how we scored them here. Basically 1 hour of battery time, 1 star, 5+, 5 stars. So that's how we're gonna do it. If you guys wanna add to it, how we might grade it in the future, please drop a comment and let me know. And these videos are a ton of work, so if you guys can do me a favor, smash that thumbs up, drop me a comment, and make sure you are subscribed. You don't wanna miss content like this. And if you wanna repay me for some of this, you guys can check the links down below and you can get discounts on everything. So I'm gonna try to provide you with the most non-biased review I possibly can for the best clippers of 2024, and it starts right now. Let's go. You guys hear that? That is the smallest violin in the world. I decided that ultimately I am not going to include the Wahl clippers because they're the exact same, well, going on, I don't know, maybe like 8 years. All right, the Wahl Magic Clip, the new combo, the senior, they're the exact same unit that they have been. And if there was something new or revolutionary that Wahl did, I would definitely talk about it, like the high vis, and they will make an appearance in the trimmer video. However, there's nothing new about these machines, and in reality, they can't compete with everything else that's on this list, so they're not gonna be here. Andis, I really would still consider this one of the better clippers of 2024 in a way, but it also can't compete. So Andis, the Revite, that's not making it, and I'm not even gonna talk about the Masters either. So these 3 machines are X off the list. If you hate it, drop a comment, let me know. But the truth is, they cannot compete with the other stuff that is on this list. Let's kick this off with the new JRL Onyx. This thing comes with smart charging technology. I'm gonna tell you guys about some pros and some cons, but let's get to the grading first. Battery life, 5 hours, that gives you 5 stars. Fading, this thing has a huge lever throw. We're gonna give that 5 stars. Bulk removal, 3 stars. Price, at about $200, that's 2 stars. And value, what you get in the box, you get a stand, you get guards, so there's a few extras, and that gives it 4 stars for a total of 19 points. Here's the weight, and here's the noise. Very quiet. Let's start off with the pros. If you remember last year, the only real con I had about this machine was it was a little uncomfortable to hold. And I still think last year's model is a great deal at $165, and that still might be worth picking up for a reason I'm gonna list in the cons. However, I'm gonna tell you guys this machine fades really well. It has a nice long lever throw, similar to the Masters. So if you were a fan of that, you're gonna enjoy that. The next thing that's nice about this is you have the smart charger technology, which means that you could sort of reset this battery. So if you have some battery degradation issues, you can actually reset that. Now let's talk about this blade for a second. If you notice, this is a lot like a Vapor blade. And as you guys know, the Vapor blade has always been one of my favorite to cut with. This does give you the forgiveness you get with a taper blade, but allows you to remove those really harsh lines. Now, another pro that I'm gonna mention is this actually has those oil reservoirs that you guys see the new FX1 series talking about. JRL actually did this first. As far as I know, one of our product testers, Rigo, brought that to my attention, so I thought that I would share that with you, as I think it is another great pro for this machine. Now, the shape and doing clipper over comb and really just doing everything all around, this is an excellent clipper. Now let's get to some of the cons. Even though this lever is nice, it's easy to fade with, it's kind of spongy and there's a lot of room in between the clicks. So that actually might be a good thing for some people. Maybe some people don't mind that. Personally, I like to know that when I seat this down into a click that I'm actually in the area I want, but this clipper can move a little bit in between the clicks. Now the 2 different run speeds, I typically don't use the lower speed. When I turn this on, I want the full power, so that's pretty much what I always do. Now, when it comes to this battery life at 5 hours, that's great, but it gives you this nice little LCD screen that you can actually see exactly where your battery life is. And I think that's also a really nice feature. Overall, I could say this is just a fantastic machine. They've made some great upgrades to it, and I would not overlook the previous machine at $165. I think that's a really good deal still. You get that really good taper blade, 4 hours of runtime, and they don't have the spongy lever. You know, the only thing that I really didn't like about it was the bottom of the case, which they've addressed in this one. However, you can also swap these blades out, so you know, you can get the best of both worlds if you choose to go for this. So for the next clipper on the list, I'm actually gonna do these together. This is the original Instinct, and then I have the Instinct X. So let's get to the grading, and then we're gonna talk about the pros and the cons. Battery life, 4 hours, that's 4 stars. Fading, we're gonna give that 4 stars. Price from $200 to $250, that is 2 stars. Bulk removal, that is 5 stars. And the value, what you get in the box, we're gonna give this 5 stars. You have a full set of double magnetic guards, stands, multiple charging options, levers, lids. I mean, they give you everything. Let's get into the pros. The technology that's inside of these motors is revolutionary. They have this vector motor that speeds up when it meets resistance. So if I go ahead and try to stop this blade, watch what happens. The motor powers up instantly, and that provides a very predictable cut when you're using it. They're awesome to fade with. They're very small, very ergonomic, and the different charging options, that's something that I'm a huge fan of because I travel a lot, I go to shows, and I don't want to bring a whole bunch of chargers and stuff like that. The difference between these two, I'll just say real quick, is I actually do prefer the Instinct X. I like the size of it. It feels more ergonomic to my hand and my fit. However, if you have smaller hands, this one still might be for you. Internally, these are essentially the same thing. All right, let's get to the cons. When it comes to the original Instinct, there was a few cons, and the first one is the vibration. They definitely can be a little bit louder, and in some cases, they vibrate so hard that the terminal on one of the batteries might fall off. And if you have a dead Instinct, it's actually a very easy fix. You can solder it, you can make it happen. Now we have probably something around like 15 Instincts in here, and that's happened to only 3 of them. So it wasn't like every single one of them were having that problem. When you go to the X Instinct, you're gonna notice that it's a little quieter, so listen to these two. This one is actually about a year old. And now listen to the X Instinct. So they've made a significant progress here in noise and in vibration. So if that's something that bothered you about the first one, you're definitely gonna wanna probably check out the Instinct X. These are just an awesome, awesome clipper. They do come with a high price tag, but if you guys purchase this, you're probably not gonna be disappointed. Many barbers list this as their favorite. They're always in the top 3. Tons of other barbers in the industry are using it, and probably one of the influencers that's gonna talk later in this video is using it as well. If you guys wanna pick this one up, you guys could of course use my code Eddie, and you could save 15% with Gamma. And let's move on to the next clipper on the list. All right, so you guys, the next clipper on the list really shook the industry up, and that is the Rebel from Stylecraft. Let's get into the grading, then we'll do the pros and cons. Battery life, that's 3 hours, that's 3 stars. Bulk removal, we're gonna give this 4 stars. Fading and blending, we're gonna give that 5 stars. Price, about $189, we're gonna give that 3 stars. And the value, what you get in the box, we're going to give this 5 stars. The pros to this clipper is it is a very good classic shape. It feels a lot like the Senior or the Magic Clip, but a little bit lighter. Secondly, when this came out, 3 hours of battery life was pretty good. It comes with the Vapor blade, which is one of my favorite blades, click lever, and really anything you could ask of a clipper, you pretty much get it with this one. Now, the little shape on the top, the way it feels in the hands, a lot of barbers made this their favorite. So this has a high torque rotary motor, and with clipper over comb and bulk removal, you're gonna find it very easy, but it's not running so fast that it's unforgiving. And you're gonna also find it very easy to blend with. This one here will always be one of my favorite clippers of all time. And when I set it down for a while and I pick it back up, I'm like, why did I ever set this down? Let's get into the cons. On the original versions of the Rebel, a lot of them got a little bit loud, and that was really the main con that people would say is they got a little bit loud. Some people might prefer a heavier clipper. Personally, I kind of like a lighter clipper. So the battery life is going up for a lot of other clippers, both in the Stylecraft and Gamma line, but also in the rest of the industry. In 3 hours, I would like to see that come up. And the only other con that I would list is I would like to see it get USB-C charging instead of micro USB charging. And the new version of the Rebel has addressed many of those problems. In fact, the new version is quieter, it has a different cam follower, and the motor is not even the same. So it's a little bit different. It's essentially the exact same clipper that you're used to, but just like many other good companies, refinements were made over the years. And when you get your hands on the newest version of the Rebels, you're gonna really see that all these are addressed. These sell out so fast. So whenever you see the pre-orders come up, a lot of people are just sitting on the sidelines waiting for these. Definitely pre-order it. Don't miss your chance to get a great clipper. And also when it comes to the Rebel, you can get the Mr. Cartoon Edition, which comes with 3 different types of lids, and it was designed by one of the best tattoo artists on the face of the earth, Mr. Cartoon. And it is just really cool when you pick up your clipper and you see that type of artwork. It's pretty inspiring. So that's definitely a huge pro if you guys could get your hands on it. All right, so when it comes to the new FX1 system, I just had to get out of the house for a minute, y'all. And let's break down the grading first, and then we'll get to the pros and the cons. First off, when it comes to battery life, that's technically 2.5 hours. I'm gonna give that 2 stars. When it comes to bulk removal, we're gonna give that 3 stars. When it comes to fading, I'm gonna give that 5 stars. When it comes to price at $269, that's technically only gonna be 1 star, but because you'll probably get a discount, I'll give it 2 stars there. And when it comes to value, what you get in the box, this one kind of threw me for a loop, y'all, because it doesn't actually have other charging options. So you do get some guards, you don't get a stand. I'm gonna give it 2 for that. So we'll start with the pros. First off, I'm not, nor have I ever been, the biggest fan of the flashlight shape, the flashlight body. However, I absolutely love fading with this clipper. I like cutting with this clipper. I think this blade is phenomenal. And that flashlight shape, it's kind of grown on me a little bit using it. So as far as performance goes, I think they really nailed it with this one. Let's get to the cons. Obviously the price at $269, that's an obvious con. The other con is I did have a little issue with the battery stand. So when I went to go charge it, it stopped charging. That was literally the first day that I was using it. Dennis from Babyliss reached out. He explained to me that all I had to do was pop up the little connectors that are inside of the charger so that it would make a contact with the battery again, and then it began charging again. And they told me that the new versions of the stands will not be susceptible to this problem. So that's good news right there. So the other con that I was gonna list was with the blade, it started making some kind of funny noise like the first day that I was using it. However, I gotta say that maybe that was just breaking in or whatever, it started to perform perfectly fine. So with a lot of the flashlight style bodies, the lever tends to get very loose. There's no fix. In fact, a lot of them, they actually include an extra lever, and in this one, it did not. So hopefully they've addressed this problem with this going forward. The only other con I would say is if you don't like the flashlight body, which I'm not a huge fan of, I don't feel a ton of control over it. However, this one does seem a little bit shorter. It does seem a little bit more comfortable. The biggest con though, by far, was the battery charging system. So even though they give you a little stand to charge your battery, there is no other way to plug this clipper in or charge it. I guess that about covers it for the FX1 Gold FX clipper. That's what they call it.
Did they like forget to put the name on it?
Kind of a weird name. I feel like it needs a name, but let's go on to the next one on the list. All right, the next one on the list is actually the Low Pro from Babyliss. And I think this is probably one of their best clippers. So let's get to the grading and then we'll do the pros and the cons. Battery life, that's 2 stars. Fading and blending, that's 5 stars. Price, about $180, $200 if you go with the influencer edition. So I'll call that 3 stars, and value, what you get in the box, essentially nothing, we'll call that 2 stars. So for the pros, if you want a clipper that feels a lot like a classic, like a Magic Clip or a Senior, and you're a fan of Babyliss, this is probably the clipper for you. It's got a great shape, it's got a great body, and it just overall is a nice clipper for clipper over comb, fading, blending, and I think the majority of people who pick this up will associate this with quality. Now cons, some of these come with the wedge blade or the fade blade. I'm gonna talk about the fade blade for a second. This one got really hot.
All right, it's 10 a.m. I'll check the temperature here in a few minutes. Okay, it's been 17 minutes. It is still running. Obviously, this is under no resistance here. Let's see.
That's hot, yo.
124.
I actually clocked this at 125 degrees, which is it's just like over the top. I've actually never measured one that high. That only happened with this blade. That never happened to me with the wedge blade. So another one would be the top of this case has this little indentation at the very top. Now it just happens to be right where you kind of want to hold it, but there are times where I'm trying to hold it a little bit differently and I don't really want my thumb sliding into that area. It might be just a personal thing, but I would have liked to have seen this a little more rounded out. And probably the last con that I would list is this has no other charging options other than plugging it in direct. So eventually when the new FX1 Low Pro gets here, that'll probably be a pretty cool update. But for this one, it doesn't have it, and it'd be nice to see some other charging options coming down the pipe. Let's move on to the next one on the list. Okay, I'm not really gonna add this one to the list, but I feel like we do need to mention the Ergo. There are very few units that ever become what I view as legacy units. And what I mean by that is when you walk into a shop, you will always see one there. And the Ergo has certainly became one, just like the Magic Clip. You walk into a shop anywhere in the country, there's probably somebody using a Ergo or a Magic Clip, or maybe even a Senior. So some of these machines have really found a special place into our heart. And I would say if you're a beginner barber, if you're somebody who is new at this, or if you're looking for something like a really good finishing tool that just helps you execute your blends perfectly, the Ergo clipper is really hard to beat. These have magnetic motors. They are super forgiving. You can get it in the X Ergo platform with a taper blade, or you can get it in the Rogue like this one here, one of my personal favorites, one of the cheapest and best performing clippers for fading that you're ever going to find. But in terms of best clipper of 2024, there are so many new things from both Stylecraft and the rest of the industry out there that yes, a lot of this stuff has probably caught up and beat this in some ways. But as far as fading goes, I don't think there's a better option out there for fading, finishing, blending. The Ergo is really the king. Drop a comment if you disagree. If you think there's anything wrong with what I just said, drop a comment and come get this smoke. Let's move to the next one. Okay, for the last one on the list, we have the Cyborg from Gamma. Let's run through the grading and then I'll break down the pros and the cons. Battery life, 6 hours. Technically that should get 6 stars, but it's only gonna get 5. Fading, 5 stars. Bulk removal, we're giving it 4 stars. Price, about $220. You'll probably get a discount, but I'm only gonna give it 2 stars for that. And then value, as far as what you get in the box, I'm gonna give it 3 stars for that because no, you do not get extra charging options. However, you do get a set of the new tight guards, which are the best to blend with in my opinion. And this is the only clipper that I'm aware of that allows you to swap the lever from one side to the other if you're left-handed and you wanna cut the way the right-handed people have always been able to. And that gives us a total of 19 points for the Cyborg. So let's get into the pros. Every single video that I have on my computer, I'm talking about hundreds of videos. I've looked at all the mistakes that I've made, all the differences in the cuts, and I've noticed one thing that is pretty consistent across the board. Every time I had a digital brushless motor in my hands, I did my best work, it was faster, and there was less to edit. So for that reason, this is one of my personal favorite clippers to use because there's something about this speed that meshes well with how I work. A huge positive to this, 6 hours of runtime. Sometimes I go an entire week without even using that. And then if we just do a quick size comparison, show them, Ed. The flashlight style clipper is a little bit larger. Now let's get into the cons. The biggest con for a lot of you guys are not gonna like this because you might think it's too heavy. I'll put the weight up here on the screen. This is the heaviest clipper you're going to find. However, if you're a fan of the corded masters or maybe some of the other corded clippers that were a little bit heavy and you've not moved into the cordless world, this actually might be a good choice. 6 hours of runtime is so long that the charging options, it's not really a big deal. Sometimes I cut hair for like 2 weeks with this without charging it. I only work 3 days a week and I actually use 2 of these. It's definitely an awesome clipper, but for you, it might be a little bit too heavy. I think it is time, y'all, that we crown a king for the best clipper of 2024. I hope y'all are ready. But before we do that, let's hear from some of our other friends in the industry and see what they say their best clipper is. All right, y'all, quick disclaimer. I have not watched any of these videos. I've been sitting on them for a little while till I finish this video, so let's react to this together. Here we go.
Cuts by Reggie here. As we enter into a new year, 2024, the question will be what clipper to be used, what tool to be used. And if I had to pick one clipper, it would be the Instinct from Stylecraft. The price on this is $250. It has the vector motor, as you can see, 4 hours of run time. Comes with their very smooth, thin vapor blade. So that's the clipper I would choose. If you want to see more detailed reviews on this clipper and more, follow me at Cuts by Reggie. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.
I could totally understand where Reggie's coming from. The Instinct is still such a great clipper, and shout out to Reggie, man. I appreciate you for contributing to this video, and you guys should all go and subscribe to this guy. The link will be down below. Let's see who we got next.
What's going on, everybody? So my man asked me to share with you guys what my go-to clippers are.
He said clippers, plural. I get it.
And you know, I was thinking about it. I can't choose just one go-to clipper. I actually have about 4 clippers that they're my go-to clippers that I use every single day.
All 4?
And I was gonna share those with you. So the first one that I use every single day,
Let's go.
is my Oster Octanes, man. The Oster Octanes, they are my babies. I love detachable blade clippers, especially these. They're so smooth, little louder than maybe some, but you can't beat them, man. They're amazing. My next go-to clipper, and these are not in any particular order, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab one and share with you, is my JRL Onyx. I love the Onyx. It cuts smooth, and man, it's just a great quality clipper. They did a good job building this clipper. If you know me, you know that I really, really like the Master Blade. And the reason I like the Master Blade, I like the way it cuts, but also I love the purple magnetic guards, specifically the OG Zero guard. Man, it just blends nice. So of course I have another JRL Onyx, and basically I just put a Master Blade on this. If you want to put a Master Blade on one of these, you can look up King's Clipper Mods. That's what it is. So anyways, look them up, and basically you can order one of these. I believe you'll enjoy it, man. If you're a JRL person, you'll definitely love it with that Master Blade on there. The next one I'm gonna grab is the new Babyliss Low Pro FX ones.
I'm jealous. He got the new Low Pro Babyliss FX ones, and I don't. And I really would have loved to included them in this video, but unfortunately, we're just gonna have to do a review when I finally do get my hands on one.
I wish that I could put a Master Blade on here. Haven't figured it out yet. I could drill the holes out, but I really don't want to do that. So, man, I'm gonna look around and see if I can have a bracket made for it. However, this blue blade, it's fire, man. So the only thing I don't like about it is I can't put my purple magnetic guards on there. But other than that, man, this is a phenomenal clipper, and I use it pretty much every day. And of course, I got one more, and this thing is my baby as well. And that's the Stylecraft Instincts with the Master Blade. Anything I can put a Master Blade on, I just really enjoy. I prefer the Master Blade on all of my clippers. However, this thing is amazing. It's so powerful, and yet it's so small and compact. I really enjoy this clipper. So, man, that's kind of my go-to clippers. That's what I use every single day. I just love them, man. So I just want to apologize. I couldn't find just one. So I went ahead and just told you what my go-to clippers are. Clippers that I use every single day that I enjoy. So I hope that was good for you. Peace.
Shout out to S-Craft Blends. I really think he is probably one of the greatest barbers you're ever going to see, you're ever going to watch. So if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're not subscribed to S-Craft Blends, you got to go check him out, because he's more than just a barber, man. This guy is an inspiration to many, and I appreciate you for contributing to this video. You got me thinking, man, because I've never really messed around too much with the Master's Blade for quite a while. But they do have an extra bracket, and I do have Master's Blades. Maybe there's a future video I'm sensing here. Appreciate you, Shannon. Let's see what the next influencer got to say. One time for your boy. You know who it is.
What's good, fam? Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Tank be chopping, and currently my favorite clipper is gonna have to be the Gold FX ones. And the reason why I say that is I like the upgraded motor in this clipper. I originally liked the original Gold FX, but now that this clipper has an upgraded motor, that motor is just a super powerful motor, and I really like the way it works. Also, I like the blade on it. I don't know if y'all know about the MIM, the metal injection molded blades, but that blade is something different. You got to try it out if you haven't tried it. Also, I'm personally a fan of the interchangeable batteries. That way I can switch through the clipper and the trimmer and the shaver if needed. If you want to know more about these tools or anything that I got to say about any of these tools, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Tank be chopping. Holla at your boy. Let's go.
First off, Tank must be a rapper. He speaks so fast and so clearly. But make sure you go and subscribe to my boy Tank be chopping. He is blowing up right now. He's doing all kind of good stuff, man. And I'm happy for you, Tank. I hope you keep growing. But yo, I hear what you're saying, Tank. I love that clipper as well. I think it's a fantastic clipper, and that blade really is next level. So don't get your feelings hurt, everybody who's watching this video at the end. When you see the grading and everything like that, this is just how it shakes out. But let's head over to the winning circle. You ready? This has been a marathon, y'all. And before y'all do that, man, please subscribe, drop a comment, hit the like button, man. As you can see, a lot of work went into this video, man. I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all, so let's do it. Before I say this list, remember, this is a list of the best clippers of 2024. So the fact that they're on here at all, you should give these companies some credit. They've worked really hard to produce these machines, and I'm a big fan of all of them. So let's start at the bottom. We have the Gold FX1 coming in at 14 points. In third place, we have the Low Pro coming in at 15 points. A tie for second place is between the JRL and the Cyborg at 19 points. And we have a tie for first place between the Instincts and the Rebel. So let's do these tiebreakers real quick. Between the Cyborg and the JRL, I think there's actually going to be a lot more broad appeal for the JRL clipper. It's so light, it's so quiet, and I think the majority of people who pick it up are going to like it. Now the Cyborg, on the other hand, is much heavier and it's just a lot different. There are some reasons why you might pick the Cyborg if you're left-handed, if you like a heavier clipper, but personally, I'm going to list the JRL in second place overall for that part of the tiebreaker. Now, between the Instincts and the Rebel, now the Rebel is just such a great value at such a low price. They just give you a lot in the box. However, I think the Instinct is still a better clipper, and I think the majority of you guys would feel the same way if you had both of them. So for dead first place, I would definitely pick the Instinct, and for dead second place, I'm definitely going to pick the JRL. Now, if you guys like this video, if you want to get some discounts on everything that I have down below, if you don't like the way I graded this, if you don't think that something I did was right, if you think you got a better way, drop it in the comments. If you disagree with me, drop it in the comments. Obviously, this video was a ton of work to make, and shout out to S-Craft Blends, Reggie Cuts, and Tank Be Choppin'. And I did reach out to a couple other influencers, but due to the time constraints and when I wanted to release this video, they didn't make it in this video. However, they will be in the follow-up videos where I will be sharing with you the best trimmer of 2024 and the best shaver of 2024. This video was obviously so much work to make, so if you guys can do me a favor, smash that thumbs up, drop a comment, be subscribed, hit that notifications, and keep rocking with us, man, because this is the first time ever that we've hit 1.1 million views in only 28 days. And Eddie's Army is growing strong. We're getting new members every day, and I appreciate all of you guys for the support from the YBA. All right? And I can't lie, y'all. It feels pretty damn good to be done with this video. I'll catch you guys over in one of these two videos. Peace.